So this is going to be a casual stream regardless, but at least this will keep me somewhat honest, more than not at all, as I'm trying to progress through. And you'll notice my level hasn't changed as much. Really, I could have, as I pick up this incubation from... Or I incubate this egg successfully. I wanted to save that for the stream, at least just to do so, but... Well, now that I know what it is nice. I mean, I do need to incubate these eggs. I should also have changed them anyway. Hello there. So anyone watching now or in the future, this is just going to be a kind of casual... I mean, I'm going to try to level up maybe twice? Definitely going to do so once with how close I am. But that'll revolve around me zipping into sections where I'm definitely over-leveled, obviously, but I am definitely also trying to catch pals that I don't have. So, that I haven't caught 10 of, because I've yet to grab that. Also, I'm still hearing an audio thing that's on my side. Let me know if there's anything weird for anyone else, and I will try to fix that. Unless it's from the future, then I'll try to fix that for next time, because I do want to stream more on this setup, because it is nicer to stream games that I cannot stream on my other setup. So hey, that being said, I completely forgot which ones I have and have not caught. I've kept a few in mind, but that pal is not one of them. I did, but I'm still missing one, and there's not really a lot here. I think there's just mainly these, not the Cremis. I want to say it's the Vixies. Also, I don't know why I tried to just recatch on my own pal while I was flying. But let me just make sure. I think it was the Vixies. Vixies? Question mark? I'm going crazy. I don't even remember. Yeah, the Vixies. Which are here somewhere. Currently not now. If nothing else, I mean, while I do have... I walked over here to the foot of the volcano warp just to get more sulfur. Because I didn't want to just go into dungeons to get sulfur. Because I'm usually inclined to catch whatever pal is waiting for me as a boss, as I get ingots produced. And yes, most of my gameplay this last week has just been AFKing. So if I ever say in the future how many hours I put in this game, just know that more than half of those hours are definitely AFK hours for the purposes of grabbing resources. And I don't know if grabbing these eggs refreshes them and allows them to be large or huge eggs, but I just grab them anyway because since they don't sell for anything, I just discard them. So, hey. But yeah, otherwise we're just here, hanging out. I don't think I'm going to go for a tower, and if I am, I'm going to go exploring. That's going to be the gist of this stream. Catching pals to level, opening more of the map, while I do have looked at the interactive map. I also need to... More resources are always good. But hey. And I'll do some hunger management, because hunger management. So, let me just make sure that's an Arsox? Arsox. That is hungry as well. We'll do a quick trade here, and then we will, yeah, I'll try to catch things. I need a rest so that my pals do work. And yeah, otherwise this would be most of the gameplay. I was thinking of other things to do as we get into more of what I wanted to do for Palworld. Obviously, this past week, I haven't even put up a lot more videos than I should. I'm sitting on like at least, well, right now I'm sitting on another 10 gigs of footage, but I know at least 30 gigs elsewhere. Because I'm being infinitely wealthy on the PS5, that's what we're talking about, so... And I might just put out one little trying to play reload, but that's... I know what I am and am not, and what I am not in this situation is first or smart. Now, I will put some thought into making videos later this month, but I still want to get this redo started, and I haven't actually gotten it started, so... That's for me to think about. But as I port over and just look for anything to really catch that I haven't gotten bonus experience for yet, yeah, this will be at least the next 2 hours, or if things turn out... You know, if things happen, then maybe a little less than that, but it will depend. Because I'm also waiting on things, so... If things do and do not happen, I will let you know when they happen. I usually say that and I end up not doing things, so... I have to say that at least so I can slap myself in the future when I go, hey Jordan, you forgot about the thing. Didn't you say you were going to do a thing? And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. And then I just become sad. Otherwise, life is still good. It could be better, but... I think that's true for everyone, really. So I hope that if at minimum me dying here provides some level of entertainment, because boy, 4 times damage is still a heck of a thing. Also, my catch rate is not 50%, if I didn't already correct myself. It's 80%. I am still just taking a bunch of damage here. Why do your projectiles get to fly through things and mine don't? Why does it have to be this way? I am over-leveled, by the way, and I'm still taking as much damage as I am. Now, is this a lot of damage? No, but... Hey, also, you know why my other pal wasn't helping? It's because they weren't even here, so... At least I won't die. And there are other information. I think I said them right in the first trying to play video where I showcased what the differences were on hard difficulty. But I would never wish that upon anyone anyway, so... And there's not really an achievement for it, like the game doesn't track, and even if it did, you know, some people would do it, I just personally don't. I wouldn't personally do it. And you just have to take me at my word on that, but again, there are no achievements for difficulty and whatnot, if you didn't already know. So, there's, like, literally no reason. Since the latest update, some pals are going through walls on the end and able to attack you, but I can't... So, I think I have footage of it, too. That literally just happened to me a few hours ago. So, I was basically playing Palworld for the past 8 hours. Yeah, most of it AFK, but... Yeah, I found that happening as well, because I think it was specifically with Arsox. So I was catching an Arsox, and then usually pals come in 2 out in the wild, and so the second one was in a wall, throwing flame balls at me, and breathing fire at me, and I almost died because of it. So... Definitely new bug, and it's an annoying one. Yeah. Again, it's not the worst. It's, like, in general video game sense, it's not the worst. It's pretty bad, though. I mean, if you really want to... I'm... Because of how many bugs I've seen in my life, pretty much, on a scale of 1 to 5, it would be a 3, I think, at most. Off the top of my head. I wouldn't say it's a 2, so yeah, it would be a 3. 4 or 5, because you can still, like, avoid things. Like, yeah, projectiles hit you from, like, across an arena, but you can at least find cover for things that are stuck in walls, usually. Or there are ways to go around it. Yeah, it's annoying, though. I won't deny that much. Do I want to throw Hyper Spears, or do I just want to throw Giga Spears? Let's find out. Also, I'm just going to tank this damage, because I probably can. If it happens to a boss, that's a 6 out of... Yeah, I mean, in 1.03... Yeah, 0.1.3. I don't know if you saw the footage. If anyone saw the footage, really. Or if I included it. That's what I want to say. I don't know if I included the footage. But the Bushi does its EI strike, and it disappears from the arena. So I know well about pals going through walls, but... I mean, if there are more occurrences of it in this update again... There are a whole host of other bugs. Again, let's not say that this game doesn't have bugs. But as someone, and some people also mentioned that I listened to here and there, I mean, the worst of it is that the game is bug-ridden. But at the same time, you have to put that on a scale of games that have come out recently. And what's to be expected as of recent. Because this game is in early access, some people give it a pass. Actually, you know, that sounds actually the most reasonable, but... Still, that doesn't change the fact that, 1, it is valid to complain about bugs, especially when they are hugely, largely affecting your gameplay. But 2, at the same time, I think the first patch came out, and yeah, it was mostly, if not all, bugs. Some of it quality of life things, like I noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, but now you need the second sphere production line, second tier sphere production line to make Ultra Spears. Yes, I forgot the name, that's why I had to zap to it. I also shouldn't be fighting these things, but I was autopiloting for a moment. Yeah, alpha pretty much, so it's to be expected. And for an alpha build, it has, like... Let's assume that the average person put at least 20 hours. And if you are, you know, heavy into Palworld to some extent, even just from a casual Palworld perspective, as much as that kind of doesn't make sense, 40 hours. I'm definitely 100 plus hours, but again, more than half of that is AFK hours. Otherwise, I would concentrate on more things, like trying to practice things to make videos. I let something roll. Yes, I have to keep reminding myself and everyone else, now and in the future, that I have an acupuncture ball that I kind of just put my foot on, or sometimes my hand, sometimes my arm. Basically any part of my body, because I maybe it's just more a placebo effect, but hey. But yeah, this game is in alpha. It's in early access, but it's in alpha. And again, if the developer is to be believed from the developer's own mouth, yeah, this game released in its alpha access when they ran out of development funds. And you know what? For selling 6 million plus copies, probably more by now. Although I have I've heard some sources, or read some sources as well, that those numbers are inflated, if I can speak correctly. But even assuming it only sold 1 million real copies, if we're going that far, listen, in US dollars, 1 million times 30 divided by 2, but just let's just assume, because the US tax works, you know, it's usually around 30-40%, but let's assume 50% and more for essentials. Yeah, the 1 million times 30 is $30 million, and then $15 million. Assume half of that goes to, you know, going back to the liquidity of Pocketpair, and yeah, you have pretty good stuff. You have a pretty good income. Not income. What's the exact phrase? Forgot, but anywho, you know what I mean. That's a lot. Now, obviously, that gets split among everyone who is working, because, you know, you want to pay the people who are working on it, so... And that also changes based on, you know, how much people are paid relative to their position, or how much people do. It's a whole thing. Basically, business stuff, but it is fun to look into. That way you kind of know, and the more you know, again, just to let you know from my experience... Or my research, more like, because, you know, I don't have a lot of experience being successful. That, you know, all these numbers that I just ran, 30 million, 15 million to 7.5 million, even half that, you have things a lot. And that's just my way of being safe business-wise. It's not even the safest. Like, I'm not an accountant, but, again, this is more my experience as a developer. You usually want to look at your profit, your balance, your liquidity in a very halved state of what you think. If for no other reason than emergency reasons. So yeah. But yeah, I think that I feel, you know, especially relative to the games that we can see based on analytics, that Palworld is up there. So it's just, I don't know what else you want me to say. Like it. Yeah, you might have your things about it, and obviously if anything really strange happens, then the game plummets, and obviously everything can be taken away, but I don't think anything... Well, there's a lower chance of things going really badly. Because how do we know, right? I'm not the developer, I don't know the developers or the company personally, I don't know anyone involved in the game, in developing the game personally, so... All I can do is an assume. But in that case, I mean, yeah, in this day and age, the right and wrong dance can be a thing, but I give people leeway, especially if, you know, they were led to believe something predicated on a lie. Now, if you double down or something, that's a completely different topic, but hey. I would like you to also not kill these things, but I might not have the choice because this thing's about to take off my shield. So hey. Are you coming too? I think he's coming to take off my shield. But it's fine. Or just my life, really. No! Where'd you go? No. I should just summon you back. Don't attack. Also, just me. I mean, I haven't noticed yet because I haven't gotten to play around with it, but the what am I talking about? Daydream Leash. The attacks seem to follow wherever your character is facing. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Again, a lot of things for me to look up and confirm. And Toku is committing the CAN word. That is... If I had to guess 9 letters long, I'm going crazy. Don't put me in a spelling bee, please! Woo! I'm just gonna catch this just because I can. But I'm pretty sure, even if I already have 10 of these, I want one of these in a base somewhere. But we'll see. Yes, I need to level up, but I'm a bit busy right now. A bit busy trying not to die. I am double the level of this thing, pretty much, and still scared. Especially when there are 3 or more things surrounding you. Let's just say that When you're surrounded, hard mode, 4 times damage. Let's just keep that in perspective. Now, I should be using my hyperspheres because that's what I'm mainly grinding, even though that's not something that you can readily make because of things. And also, item rates are also just complete rock bottom here. Oh, that was my 10th one. Okay, never mind. I retract my earlier statement. But we're still looking for other things as well. If I can. But I guess I should just level up now. I'll go raid that base, and let's actually do this thing now, because I have things on. When's my next weapon unlock? 39. So, forget what I just said. These are also important. I should go back to base to take care of them. And yeah, I've lost a lot of, basically, progress in terms of... I should be farther than this, but at the same time... Because it's not really an excuse. Yes, AFK, but... At the same time, I AFK. It's not like I'm actually progressing. If I were really trying to progress, I would, mainly catch pals. At this point, when you restart the game for whatever reason, you're probably going to be a lot faster. Shotgun is weird, FYI. Thanks. Okay, we'll see when it happens. I should be able to get to it then, but let's see. And obviously, I'm just putting in things into everything else. I am more a crafter-gatherer. Also, you know what I also forgot to do? Take out this. You threw a grenade at me? Why? Don't do that. No! Fire! Fire! I should just take out my handgun. If nothing else. But out of curiosity. Get out of the way, Ketris! Ow, that damage. Okay, I might actually die. Hold on. Shields! Can I please? Thank you. You know what I should also do? I should also do this. I was making sure of a thing. As a person, you know what? Funny enough, even though one of my worst game genres is shooters, and maybe it says something about me too as a person, but I gravitate towards shotguns. Now, I guess my simple explanation is because I have bad aim, but at the same time... Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm not, again, because I'm not a shooting aficionado. Aficionado? I would not claim to know how to describe my type as a player. You know what I also didn't do? I also didn't do this. I was like, where's my handgun? It's because it's not there. Ow! Miss, miss, miss. Yeah, so case in point. Can you take care of... Okay, fine, I'll do it. Actually, don't I have you to not attack? Is that why you weren't attacking? Sorry. Issue with it is that it makes pals hard to catch. Again, well, I guess we'll see. Again, I haven't looked into as much as I should have, basically. But at the same time, when it happens, it'll happen. And by that, I mean, I will AFK for a lot of ammo and get to play around the... $300,000? I forgot. Anywho. Again, I don't doubt you on that. I don't normally doubt people. But maybe my experience will be different for whatever reason. Because my experience is, you know, as much as I think that it's different. Maybe it's not, but maybe it is. So I sit in this weird line between wanting to be efficient but also being casual, which is why I guess my viewpoint on things can be kind of skewed in a very adaptive way. Not adaptive, what do I want to say? I mean, the positive version is adaptive, but the negative version is something. I'm losing my words. Self-proclaimed writer, by the way. Not that I've really written anything recently, but hey. Hey, you come back. Oh, that's right. I have a Van Worm shooting. So yeah, I'll definitely see. For good or for bad. Oh my goodness. Oh, I didn't want to use the Hypersphere, but hey. Dig Toises, though, I do need more of that. Oh! And you know what I didn't do? I should just replace my thing. I don't know why I do this to myself. No! You caused my Gigasphere to miss! You silly... Daydream? Daydream? Daydream. Oh, I'm being targeted by something else. And I don't have 10 Dig Tortoises yet, so I should take care of that while I'm here. Yeah, and I have 300 rounds, so I can afford to lose about, 100 or 200 of them before I really have to worry about things. And I've caught more than enough fuddlers, but hey, anything with a positive trait, even if it's a pal I'll never use, is nice. But to aggro things from far away, because I feel like things have drop-off. I wouldn't be very surprised if they did. Don't die, though. There you go. This needs to be a hypersphere, though, at least. But hey, if I get it with the Gigasphere, it's nice. Hey, it's nice. And I'm pretty sure I don't have a lot of you guys either. Reload. Reload. Robots don't hurt me. Where'd I get that? What game did I get that from again? Why am I forgetting the name of the game? Obviously, it's a railgun shooter, but I forgot. Not that I was very good at those games. Again, I'm not good at shooters, so therefore, that skill does not translate well to light rail. Even though you see me play, I think this channel does have footage of me playing Galgun. But even though, I mean, yeah, it scratches the itch for a light rail shooter, but it's not the most difficult light rail shooter anyway. Can you just go on this ball? I would like to not get hit with no shields. Now, I also need to make you know... Oh my goodness. Is that the shotgun damage I'm looking at? So, 0.1.40 did say that they fixed, like, double damage here and there, but at the same time... Maybe I'm getting a sneak peek. Ow! Get in this pal sphere. Now, I do need to stop and heal. I might as well go back and sleep/recover, but mainly recover. But yeah, all my shooting lack of experience and skill does amount to my bad hand-eye coordination. So if I have to do anything that's, that has to do with my eyes looking at something and reacting to something on screen and then using a mouse cursor, the worst version is a mouse cursor to try and do something skillful, then yeah, it's probably not great for me. Also, I will admit that before, because I'd had it in the back of my mind, but I never had the mind to try it. But basically, grappling gun when you're overweight. Now, obviously, they patched that as well. For anyone who didn't know, they patched if you're overweight by like a lot, because usually how it was and how I believed it was designed, based on my observations, is that they just used some kind of formula to make your speed, to decrease your speed until it hits 0. Once it goes 0 or negative, then it just stays at 0 and you can't move. But they made it so that you had basically a minimum speed. So no matter, even if I'm say 200, 2000, what are the units of weight in Palworld? I don't know. But basically, when your weight is, say your weight is 2,000, but your capacity is only 800, then you'll still slowly walk. I'll demonstrate it next time we get the chance. That way I kind of remember it as well. Yeah, you can move despite being overslowed. So basically, again, in programming terms, there's a minimum speed value. Now, how it's implemented exactly, I mean, I'm sure someone knows, but that's the closer to layman, but more technical, mathematical / programming way to define things. I'm pretty sure there's also a closer warp, but no, there is not. Never mind. Yeah, so able to move all your chests to a single one is partially long, but that's a huge quality of life. So yeah, it's nice to move around, but before that, you could still, again, what I was trying to say at the beginning of this conversation is that you could still use the grappling gun. So even if you were immobile, you could use the grappling gun to get places. Now, obviously, there are things you can do here and there, but for me specifically, like if you're nowhere near anything else, yeah, you could spend the time, but to me, it's a numbers game. Like obviously, if I'm standing at my base and before this patch, I was overweight, and basically, a lot of the things I have to deposit are right there. I could just do this. And it obviously saves you time. Basically using the grappling gun when you're overweight. And in a way, you can still use it when you're overweight. It's just you can at least move, so that helps out. So that makes things very, very nice. But yeah, I'll still use grappling gun tech, but it wasn't something. Basically, it was something that someone let me know that I could do. And yeah, it makes more sense. Now, you could use it while you're mining and AFKing and stuff as well, because you're waiting for the 10-second cooldown, like zoom. And I also only have the mega grappling gun, so it's not the farthest. But when you get the far one, you can definitely use the grappling gun to make your life easier. That way you're not moving at a snail's pace, almost literally, but mostly figuratively. Actually, I should just demonstrate it for the sake of doing so. And I think I actually need to carry more. So let's do that. Wait, so yeah, this is how slow you move now. It's still very slow, but at least they're not immobile, and it's actually not as slow as you could have gone. Again, that's why I feel like before this it was a sliding scale of some kind of equation that essentially hits 0, so whatever's the highest of ceiling of 0 or negative number, and then yeah, you can just use my grappling gun. But hey. So that's why I still carry a grappling gun, if nothing else. But let me see here. So, what do I want to do here? It was the arrows, right? But I don't want to store that many arrows. I shouldn't even be using a crossbow anymore, but ammunition is hard to come by. Again, that argument is kind of still on the table, where is it worth it to make ammunition? Like yourself? Maybe, maybe not, but I'm AFKing, so for me, it makes a bit more sense. Howdy still can't get over the true genius of a game Palworld despite the drama surrounding it? Yeah. It'll have drama. And it just has a bit more because obviously, I mean, let's not deny this looks like the other P game. Too close. And as I've heard someone describe it before, like, the way, like, the fact that you're using these things to catch your pals, the fact that it shakes in a very specific animation, the fact that they come out and flash into a ball of light when they come out, or you suck them back in, is all a lot closer than most people would feel comfortable with. But in an interesting way, when has... I would like to say most innovative things come from people taking at least bigger risks than smaller ones. So especially in an age where people have stopped taking more risks, I think, you know, these things stand out more, and therefore obviously the risk involved is the whole controversies that I wouldn't even say controversy is usually attributed to a negative thing. I guess the discourse is the word everyone is using, so, and fair enough, right? Survival with cute animals, yeah, but argument falls the more you think about it. A lot of clones exist, and yeah, again, we go work in a circle, and I'm actually on Palworld's side here. Again, realistically speaking, as far as even the layman would like to know about, basically it's up to whatever legalities exist that is there to judge the game, if and when it gets judged. And if it doesn't get judged, then in a way, it comes out innocent. Like, basically, right now, based on what we know in a court of law, I would be inclined, again, not legal advice or anything. Oh no, I've done that, but I would not find Palworld guilty, basically, as of now. Now, obviously, that's predicated on the notion that, you know, Pocketpair doesn't, you know, put its people to work overtime and then, like, a handful of employees die, which is an unfortunate thing. That's a fortunate example to use because it actually happens a lot these days in the past 10 years, but like, I wish I didn't have to say that, basically. You know what, I also forgot to do this because for some reason I can't see. So people are just mad that it's bad compared to Palworld for half the price, and yeah. So again, I think there are a lot of factors. It's not just one factor, obviously, and if anyone who believes that, I would disagree. It's that, you know, we've been starved for a good game of this nature and others. It's unfortunately a fault of some sources on the internet, robots or not, or human beings, that have caused, the discourse that has currently arisen to come out more, for better or worse. And in Palworld's case, again, if I were, if I were serious about, if I were on the disagreeing side, playing devil's advocate, so it's not actually a real opinion, or it's not an opinion I would actually take if I were truly on, but for the sake of argument, like, you wouldn't want to talk about Palworld, because all that does, for the layman especially, and if you're trying to not put money in Pocketpair's pocket, haha, funny pun, then you would basically don't speak about the game, because, as I had a cough, I do agree that publicity, bad or good, results in, business-wise, more sales. Now, obviously, there is a threshold, and the threshold is if, something really bad were happening, then all of that profit would go towards whoever is involved in legally claiming it after they are found guilty of a very big crime. But in this case, again, until it happens, yeah, the discourse is just increasing those numbers, so it's a strategy. Oh, why am I trying to store this here? It's a strategy that a lot of people employ these days. Now, to what ethical... is it ethical? Sometimes it depends on the situation. But normally, basically, any kind of publicity, most of the time is, only gonna help something from a business standpoint. But again, the threshold is if something really heinous was happening. Heinous? Heinous was happening? I'm trying to store everything so that I can go do something else. Although, I don't often pick up Toko feathers, so you know what? I do need to store this elsewhere. What is in all of these, by the way? I don't even remember. Story found funny. Guy tried to say Palworld was straight acid flip. Did that only because Palworld apparently promoting violence against creatures. Yeah. But again, I'm sure there's some fallacy to explain it, right? Where I'm also waiting for something because I want to get ore, but I should be concentrating a bit more. But this is, we're playing Palworld, let's talk about it. So, again, if Palworld just happens to be the one in front, there are a whole host of games that happen. Basically, while you don't want a blanket statement to cover everything, you do have to point out, well, this, and this example exists, and when there are more than a handful of examples, then therefore, like, why didn't you say that about these other games? Why are you saying it only about this? And if that's the case, live by what you eat. Now, obviously, again, that's all determinant on a more exact situation for my liking anyway, but at the same time. So here we're going to grappling gun over to the thing and travel. Among other, like, most of the discourse can be answered with that, and, that's actually the most logical answer. So, take that source with a grain of salt, maybe a fan. Palworld is up alley for fun. Yeah, so, again, we'll see what happens in the future. Again, for now, definitely for the next, again, at least until another game comes out. Let's just say that much. Palworld is going to be standing on top, and either it's going to be somehow get kicked off, but I only see that happening when something really heinous happens, or two, there are going to be games that are up along with it, and obviously they're going to be funny. Actually, can you even say that there can be Palworld clones when Palworld is literally, like the developer said it themselves, an amalgamation of things that the development team found fun put into a game? So can you really say Palworld clones? That's a funny thing, and then that's something I think I've mentioned before, right? If you make something like this, it's not like anyone can clone you. They can only do it better, I guess is the best way to put it. And that's going to be a hard thing to ask now, because then any game that comes out, for better or worse, is going to come out with the stigma that's like, oh, you're trading on the success of Palworld, and that does have an effect on because that's essentially direct competition. You have direct competition, and if there's one already out that's good, people are less willing to take a risk. Again, that's just my experience as someone who's researched, the gaming market, I guess. Now, obviously, I'm not an authority, but I'm just one dude. But from my experience, these stigmas exist, and while they, people can choose to believe in them or not, I have my eyes were opened a long time ago that that's not reality, but the current market, I guess, is the closer, accurate statement that I would say is accurate. Was a fan of Palworld just destroys. Important thing for games, make them last for a fun factor. Innovation is just taking pre-existing things and taking a unique spin. Yeah, so I mean, because at this point, I think humanity's gone. I don't want to make this. I don't make it sound like I'm trying to be philosophical about it, but there is a philosophy in it, in where we've reached a certain point in the gaming market where it's hard to really come up with something original. Now, it's not It's not an impossible task, but it is. After a while, someone will say, "Hell, you took inspiration from this and this and this," and that's what most developers do. Heck, I do it myself. Instead, though, my question, I just spoil this out there because it's games I'm developing. The games I develop or plan to develop or are developing now are based on things that I know that the market does not have, and I believe that other games have failed in, even though they've come out in the past few years. So there are certain genres of games that I believe are not. There's the demand for it, and there is not enough supply, or a good enough supply, because you can have a supply, but if the supply's quality is not high, no one's going to eat fish that is, not high quality, I guess, is some way to say it. Also, with that increase in weight that I did, I can now keep my things equipped without having to worry about this mining rotation. I don't want to call it a mining rotation, but I do rotate over here to get coal every now and then, so hey. So yeah, that's my whole thought process, and I guess kind of real-life experience with at least developing games. So yeah, 150 coal, and then, just a little bit of ore here and there. I'm on cooldown, aren't I? That's why I can't grappling gun. Anywho. As I saw what you did to the thing, Palworld's like, yeah, so you have something to eat while the freaks of games work on their next project. Now, whether they swerve or not, or whether they stand by what they believe in, if I had to guess, like if we had to put money right here, right now, I would say that they would stick to their guns and not really change anything too much. And if I had to say that they're not going to change anything at all, but maybe they will. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if they made some changes. Now, if they did if they just decide to directly compete with Palworld in terms of everything, like literally do a 1-to-1 and doing everything that this game has, but better, then I would be a little bit surprised, at least. But again, we'll see if that happens. Yeah, just grappling gun over to this thing. Whee! So yeah, we'll see. So I need to catch more pals, by the way. Sword this course ammo, even though I won't use it anymore. Well, I mean, yeah. Technically, the what is it? Gold? Yeah, gold. Let's just call it gold. They didn't even. I mean, yes. And here we'll talk about a little bit about writing, unless I need to address something. Not a turn-based RPG, but still tickle. I mean, theoretically speaking, because Remake is coming out. Remake Part 2 is coming out end of February, right? If I'm not mistaken. So in that regard, that game used to be an RPG, but the developers stated their intent there as well. If I remember correct me if I'm wrong. But they said basically that the fantasy that is final, they want it, I mean, in its true, like, not purest form, but ideally, because think about it, you're developing a game back then, but you can't make an action game because the resources and technology isn't readily available. So you just make an RPG, and so now it's an action-based, but still kind of turn-based system, but more action-based. I would argue it's more action-based now. So, in that regard, what I'm trying to say is, if the freaks of games decide to turn it into a more action-based sequence, yeah, a lot of fans would complain, and that's the identity of that series, but at the same time, that was also the identity of the past 13, 12 fantasies that are final, so I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't really argue, but I'm not a fan, so, but at the same, you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, it's an evolution, or it's a change that it's not too absurd, because FF did it already. And you can still switch to a quote-unquote turn-based RPG, but I wouldn't call it turn-based RPG at that point. It's an action game that can be programmed to be a turn-based game, like being infinitely wealthy as well. Like, actually, no, that game too. Infinitely wealthy to dragons that are similar, so hey. Also, I was looking for my hot shirt, which I put over here, because I need to go do a thing. You know, I should actually make tropical armor, so you know what I'm actually going to do? This. Oh, that's right, I have to research it. Completely forgot. I can make regular armor. I don't want to, but I probably have to. I have more than enough technology points to do so anyway, so you know what? Yeah. Where is it, by the way? I'm going crazy. Oh, I could also get a saddle for my range Rex. Level 25. So based on this, theoretically, well, I mean, no, I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say because it makes less sense. But anywho, we'll do this, and then I will AFK it by putting my acupuncture ball on top of my keyboard, and I'll speak with chat while I'm making this thing. Played through the arcs and didn't offend, but it was fine. So Palworld has good UI. Again, from a technical standpoint, this game is actually amazing, despite its bugs. Again, the graphics are what they are, but I care less about graphics and more about gameplay. I guess that is something that is kind of apparent based on what I've said and the games I play and whatnot. But anywho. Yeah, from a technical standpoint, and a certain developer was right when they talked about Palworld. And again, obviously they have more experience, but you know, it's easy to see that if this game were programmed, I guess, by AI, and that is something to speak about, like getting all of this to work in the way that it is now, it might be assisted by AI, but that's a completely different argument, because the argument that is supposed to hurt it is that it's completely made by AI. There's a difference, basically. There's a difference. You know, there are people who don't, if there's AI involved at all, that's a whole other thing, but that's a different, again, I think that's a different argument. But yeah, this game is actually, at minimum, works good in version 0.1.4.0. Despite the bugs it has, but with a game like this, it's hard to put out a game, or it's not likely that a game comes out in this day and age, especially in early access, and has less than 50 game affecting bugs, let's just say. So yeah. And yeah, at this point, I mean, if we were to talk about it more, the POK series, again, might have just as long as time, or longer time than most games, so it's switching its genre from RPG turn-based game to a more action-type game. Pals Forbid, an open-world game like this, is a bit more I don't want to say absurd, but different, I guess. And it's there's this closer word that I had at the tip of my tongue, and now I forgot. But seeing money just explode out of people as the dragon of doges. Yeah, so there are identities to games, and you know, it is jarring, I guess, is the closer word that I can use right now. It's jarring if a game that has been known in a certain way for decades now, literal decades, is changes its formula. But hey, I'm gonna believe, so let's find out. Why did you shoot that way, Daydream? Oh my sweet goodness. Okay, let's not kill you now. Really, Gigasphere? Hypersphere. Nope, missed one Hypersphere. Ow, my shields! Haha, I outleveled this thing by 6 levels. Destroys my shields. But anywho. So yeah, games have their identity, and, you know, a lot of things start out, you know, funny enough, a lot of successful games start out with some sort of identity, but it's not polished. I cannot be someone willing to claim that because I work things at my own pace because of a certain pace, but hey. It would be nice. Don't I have a thing? No, I don't. Oh! Oh! Well, there go my shields. I'm gonna die immediately. I know I am. No, come back. No! What hit it, actually? Oh, Dynasum. Dynasum did hit it. Well. Yeah, we have butchering, but they're not dead. They're just hurt. But anywho. It is turning into night, so really I just want to get my sulfur and leave, because if nothing else, it would allow me to make more ammunition. Of which I would desperately need. RGG at least had changed its identity and it worked. Yeah, and again, I'm not saying, because I think it's fair to say that the freaks of games can change their formula and it works out just fine. But is it harder? Probably. I would say yes, but nothing's ever certain, right? So, hey, you. Oh my goodness, missing. It's fine. My pals are the highest source of damage anyway. So really, if I lose all this ammunition, it's not the worst thing in the world. Although, I don't have a rifle, so... Can you do more damage? A little bit more damage? That's not what I'm asking for, but... I might have no other choice. Okay. This... Oh, these things really don't disappear. Oh my goodness, please. Reload. Some risk can be profitable and some can flop. Yeah, and then until we have a specific, like, when you're working with specific examples, then we can tell which ones flop, which ones succeed, and it's usually apparent, not always, but it's usually apparent why things succeed or flop. So, again, I know my own place. Also, we still have the double hit perk. Still have the double hit bug, but at least we're not taking things. I forgot what actually triggers that. This would be nice to trigger more often until it gets patched. But anywho. Playing too safe. Again, that's a time of this current day and age. People don't want to, one, get canceled and things like that. And for better or worse, that's more than a large portion of human beings in general. I'm not going to say exactly, I don't have the numbers behind to support that. I don't even believe it, because I think most people, in my opinion, have enough common sense. Now, we're all not geniuses, so we can only do what we think is right. And as some dudes sitting somewhere trying to develop games and playing games on a YouTube channel, there's only so much I can do. But my specific opinion is that that doesn't mean you don't try. That doesn't mean you don't try to be ethical and things. If, you know... I mean, obviously bad things can happen, so... If it's out of people's control, I'm not going to hold it against them. But if it is within control, you do your best. Yeah, and for the most part, like, if I could really focus on this channel and do other things, you know, and feel success, turns out quality of my own life would feel a lot better. And so would other people's. But at the same thing, I try not to take things for granted. Arsox, why are you down there logging, by the way? It's because I'm in this base like this. Now, funny enough, I guess that's the negative of making my base here. I mean, that's what I thought. But there are better base locations. But the plus side of this base is that when most things come to raid you, this slope is the best wall I could have without really building anything. And for the most part, again, pals know how to get back here. But if I want to do, I think building foundations blocks things, so hey. They tried with Arc and almost, but they took no risk, and yeah, the trees made it so that they couldn't. Is that a true thing? I say that as a kind of a meme, but at the same time, I feel like it's not a meme. Where they made trees prettier, and that literally resulted in them not being able to add in more varieties of monsters. If BG3 can get away with romancing Burr and not getting triggered, such like people can risk adding new stuff. And that's the thing, right? I think that is a true statement, for the most part, at least. It's that, you know, taking, like, obviously don't go off the deep end, and don't try to be, like, sly with things, but risk in terms of, I don't know if this is going to be successful, as long as it's within, like, reason, of, you know, not doing anything criminal, because obviously you can profit off of things and, you know, it's for the worse. But if you're taking a risk like, I don't know if this genre, I don't know if mixing this and this and this mechanic will work out, try it anyway. You never know. And if you're a small-time developer, make a really small game, but test out your mechanic. Again, that's a real experience that I can give anyone, because I've tried that myself, and I know what works and what does not work. There's also a timing aspect to it, I admit, but timing in terms of what the game market currently looks like. Now, obviously, there are exceptions. If your game is just so good it breaks the market somewhat, but that doesn't mean that there aren't timely moments to take risks here and there and go for something that's new. Because otherwise, what's going to happen is someone else is going to do it first, which is actually happens a lot more than you think. And then you don't capitalize on it, and yeah, that's your life. Like, this is real life. If you want to do something memorable with your life that's good, taking a risk is because the worst thing that happens is you fail completely. Actually, that's not the worst thing to happen, but the nicest worst thing to happen is that you fail, but you at least learn something from it. Among other things. Basically, fail faster, I think, is how one video puts it, and I do believe in that as well, but it's for a lot. I think what's stopping a good number of people, I'm not going to say a majority or a lot of people, is basically dealing with the redundancy that exists in game development specifically. Now, obviously, if the resources, the motivation and whatnot, at that point, a lot of it is actually business decisions, but that's something I think that's a bit different. But risks are normally a good thing. And I think a certain developer that's talked about something, a concept that's basic, or a topic that's close to this, has said pretty much the same thing. People not taking risks, not being open to new ideas, playing too safe, even from a business standpoint, like how overhead exists in businesses. Now, obviously, there is merit in, stopping to think, having meetings and whatnot specifically. But when you're having so many meetings, when there's so much overhead that work cannot get done, almost literally, if not literally, then yeah, that's not good. I would say that's not good. But at the same time, diplomacy is also a huge fact. Like networking, diplomacy, negotiations are an important aspect. Let's not get that wrong. But at the same time, I think, in my opinion, just develop a game, just literally do it. That it's not even a meme, it's actually a phrase that we can apply. So I'm trying to catch more pals here. Do I want to just go back to that's why I'm deciding whether or not to keep my heat resistance things equipped, but I guess I should. Freaking MOBA, so they can dip their toes. And yeah, and it did work pretty well. Now, the health of the game notwithstanding, because from what, I don't know, from sources I hear at the same time, some people say it's still doing, I mean, obviously people are still playing it, and money is still flowing into it, so for at least, again, I don't want to say business, but it's the best where I have on my mind right now. From a business standpoint, it's still somewhat successful, unless they're actually losing money on it, then that's something else, but we'll see, because, I mean, if nothing else, we get a spin-off, which is what obviously the Arc was, but they proceeded in the main VS one to try to implement features of that. So obviously we wanted it, they just didn't do it well enough. And obviously I'm not someone who played the game intensively, so I don't know the specifics, but when a lot more than a few people are saying such and such, I think there's some merit in saying that they didn't do it as well as they could have. So, and yeah, when you say that, yeah, I would say you're right. Maybe someone who knows a bit more can say otherwise, but I'm willing to believe you there, because if nothing else, there are a good number of people playing that game. I think right now, even. Actually, you know what? I'm curious as I stand here for a moment, because I need my shields back anyway. Yeah, I need my shields back anyway, so let me see here. Ba-da-ba-ba. Pretty sure, right? Tell me. Oh, no, it's not. I'm going crazy. Why did I think it was on that? I know I can check somewhere else, but... And obviously, I could just get numbers directly from their website, but anywho. EU still gets updates and seasons, and yeah. So again, it might not be their most profitable venture, and in fact, it might not be doing as well as they like, but it's still showing that there's interest. And I think that is also, if you subtract certain things from MOBAs and stuff, because obviously MOBAs need to pay for themselves. Like, I don't think skins are a bad idea, but we're at a point where most of it is predatory. But at the same time, those games do need to pay for themselves somehow. And I don't think skins are a bad idea. And obviously there are better ideas as well. That's just the first example that comes to my head. Ah, hold on. Let me not die. Oh my goodness. Tree! But yeah, you can do it good, and basically every genre still has ways to improve. So while we could innovate, at the same time we could also stick with what we have and improve on what we have, because we're definitely in not a stagnant age, because obviously a lot of good games have been coming out recently. Oh my goodness, why do I do this to myself? But for the layman, there could still be a lot more. Certain genres notwithstanding, because I don't want to say I've given up on certain genres, but let's just say that certain genres of video games are not in what most people would believe a healthy spot. Now, there are people who make content on those games some here and there, and I hope them all for the best, but boy, does when we're talking about the layman here, things are not as well. One gigantic issue, competition. Yeah, and so obviously, again, people already have choices like, why would they play this game that they're trying? I mean, obviously, there is strength in the IP being pulled, but at the same time, if another genre does it better and already has a good number of the audience, human beings can only spend so much time on a certain video game. And I don't think this is an absurd statement for me to reveal, but I personally follow it as of right now. But I think it's, for a lot of smaller developers, it's not a bad idea to make a game that would only take, say, a few hours tops to complete. Now, Steam withdrawals and that rule set notwithstanding, that's a completely different topic, but if your game is a one and done, then it's a one and done. I'm not going to say that's a bad idea, but at the same time, if you're going for replay value, you really, which is what we're talking about here. If you're going for replay value, yeah, you definitely need to stand out and not just be happy with what you have. Unless you're happy with just, the fans that you have, which is a whole different thing. I mean, goals aside. Sweet goodness, by the way, hold on. Fight! Can you not take him away? Oh, no, he was moving. Oh my goodness, I almost slid right into that. I slid into the flames, however, and now I have to worry about what's behind me. I want a shotgun soon. I can't even speak correctly. Oh, goodness. Ow! I'm about to die. Save me! Ah. I'm gonna take a risk. Oh, I hit it from here. Hey. Let me recover. So yeah, I'll recover for a bit, but we can talk while we're waiting. Look at these things. Hold on. On my nose! And take a sip of water. Lane E's cash cow game for popularizing predatory storefront. Abuse the season pass for basically infecting the overall mindset of game development. And again, it's not like... And I get a drink of water. I mean, I understand why well, everyone can understand why they're doing it. Let's just say it that much. Because money does flow in. But basically, how do I want to say it? There's an analogy for this, but essentially that mine's gonna run out, right? That gold mine is gonna run out of gold. And if nothing else, it's already harder to get the gold, so even speaking already, it's a hard thing to ask for, because it just kills innovating, fitting the mold to be popular. People say that, well, I mean, if the question is, does it make money, ethics aside, then people will make decisions based on that piece of information. But at the same time, oh my goodness, oh, well, hey. Those went through the rock, right? Anywho. So, Hold on, let me just... Okay, yeah, we're good. I think I have a hot shirt somewhere, right? I should. But yeah, if people see money, they will make decisions. Now, it's not this. I don't think it's the smartest decision, but to them it is. So until something else happens, it's gonna take a while to change. It'll be at least a few years if I had to get, like, if we had to put money on it, I'd guess a few years. But maybe something else happens. Maybe something good happens. We'll see. Well, I'll grab the... Oh, that's not my storage. I was like, how did I have another Mega Shield? I mean, I probably do somewhere, but hey. So, yeah, at least knowing that that's how decisions are made. If you didn't know, people make decisions based on where the money is. And that is unfortunate, in my opinion, but that's what people choose to do. So, and again, in my opinion, that well is slowly running dry, if not already running dry. And all we can do is, you know, make Palworld. I mean, is it really a bit, like, again, and Palworld doesn't have a single microtransaction right now, right? So let's say that it does. Let's say that it introduces a microtransaction system, but it's just skins. Like, unless they go really insane with it. And again, there's more than just the microtransactions. And microtransactions are not the worst thing in the world. It's just that they're predatory as of right now. Are you really gonna aggro me? Oh, well, okay. Can I grab these pals? I just need to at least grab the pals, but I don't think I'm gonna get to do that. So, 1, 2, 3, 3. No! No, grab the pals! Okay. Ah! But yeah, even if I had like if you could get you know, skins and whatnot, and oh my goodness, I slid. You knew where you were shooting me? Really? Pain. Look at that world. Look at my leg going through the sand. Would it be a scary direction? Yes, let's just admit it that much. But when only a little bit is added, we're not going to see too many complaints. It might turn people off, but hey. But at the same time, there is not a single transaction in this microtransaction in this game, so flipping that around, boy. I keep if you haven't noticed, I keep several copies of gear just in case things like that happen. But what I should really do is grab a pal here because I need protection. Probably a chillet. I can also ride my chillet, so I don't know why I'm not just grabbing pals here. Yeah, there are mods on Palworld already. MTX and whatever. Yeah, so again, there's a lot of different angles you could work at these things. Will they do it or will they not? That's for them to decide, but I mean, the game's already sold 6 million copies, if nothing else. And at this point, I'm just making speculation, so there's not really too much to talk about. So hey. So you take care of them while I grab my stuff. Can I find where I died? Yes, I can, but the question is if I can do so safely. Whee! My voice is already breaking. When did I even pick up that large scorching egg? Anywho. So yeah, we'll see where the game goes. One patch a month is I think the not bare minimum, but I think a good pace to go, because without that, people will drop the game. Now, funny enough, the game is already, I mean, even if it's just a hot fix, it was pretty much a lot of hot fixes. Let's just say it outright. 1.4 was a hot fix, but it's faster than most games coming out. And when you're like, even if you want to say it was not a great jump, I didn't equip my parachute, by the way, or glider. Even if you want to say it's not the best, and other games do it better, compared to what exists out there, it's competition, to use the same phrasing we've used before, it's definitely beating 90% of the competition. And we'll just look back at the numbers on screen. Even assuming that like 5 million people are somehow robots, 1 million, you know, I wish I could sell a game and sell 1 million copies of even a $2 game, so, and only make like 250,000, and that's without that's after subtracting tax and things that I think are probably going to happen to me, but without subtracting liquidity that I want to put in. Liquidity mainly being the, for those who don't know, like things that the money you put into your company or your business, basically, so that you can manage things. No matter what it is, if it relates at all to, in this case, game development, it's liquidity. But that's not the exact definition, and I am not a legal, economic, or tax expert. But there is some research I've done. So for those who don't know, yeah. So not that, the metal armor, the common shield, and I think there's a bit more here. Yeah, another common shield, but that goes elsewhere. And we'll move on. Cheap $5 to $10 expansion. Yeah, for a $30 game. Not, we'll just say it outright because I do respect this game as well, at least. So Vampire Survivors came out $3, came out with a few more DLCs. Now it's a $15-ish game, but well, and I think Adventures mode. Maybe I should do that. Adventures mode for Vampire Survivors is part of the base game and is not connected to the DLCs. Does anyone know? So yeah. I mean, DLCs for games is not a bad idea, especially when your game is very popular, because if nothing else, I want to say at minimum a tenth of your player base will buy it. So a tenth of, let's just say 300,000 people will buy the DLC for $10. And yeah. You don't need to be a mathematician, but hey, it's a lot. So what do I want to equip in the... Oh, I need to store my common shield. I also need to do a thing, but I think we're fine for now, because then I just need to sleep. But for now, put this in, grab this back, common shield. There's something else. Oh, drop it. No. Let's equip everything first. So if you've noticed, I've just started using gold coins because without it, I mean, until they implement some kind of thing to stop pals from, or prevent pals from putting things in a slot, I'm using my gold coins to kind of prevent my pals from putting things in chests that I don't want them to. Now, is it a little bit, is it a little tedious to some people? Sure, but not to me, because what's more tedious is finding wood somewhere, and I'm like, oh, now I want to put it, especially for those who have, you know, are really obsessive about that kind of thing. Yeah. Garbage DLC for that, $40. And there were $2 at, yeah, from people's opinion, and I don't, again, your opinion is validated in terms of, if you feel that way, at least 2% of other players or 1% of other players feel that way, and for a game as popular as that, 1% is actually quite a large number. And eventually, after a certain point, all of those numbers will go away when 1% keeps getting chipped away at. So, yeah, that's not going into the... I'm not going to go into that topic as much because I have thoughts about it, but I don't know if they're true. But yeah, DLC that is actually not worth the cost. I mean, we know those from predatory examples, especially with microtransactions or skins and whatnot, or certain tality FAs, but... in certain fighting games, but yeah. You can do good on it, but part of the, like, the damage is done. Visibility and your, not presentation, what do I want to say? Your reputation does do a lot for you in the general sense. You don't find it annoying because can access, yeah, so... And that's the thing, for if you're talking about in terms of your pals just putting things in every one of your chests, yeah, that's... But just me, I like having everything sorted out somewhat. I'm not too... Well, actually, if I were to look at it more objectively, I guess I kind of am, but... If I need to take out... Because, yeah, when you build a few more bases and you want to move things, I'm sure there's a thing, and someone has mentioned an interesting system in terms of... Because Minecraft has the nether chest where you can access things. Basically a chest that works across all your bases, but they're probably just gonna actually patch more things out while introducing more content. But I'll say in the patch after the next patch is when they'll add more content. The next patch will probably still be patches and whatnot. But we'll see, right? least you have that. That's thoughtful. Yeah, it is thoughtful of them, because without it, it's... Rewind it a bit back, the game is still well made from a programming aspect. Ow, my body. But anywho. I need to level up more. Oh, I don't have my Veil Claw because it's sitting in a PAL box. So let's take that out. They could have not implemented that. Resources to work like Minecraft. Yeah, so the fact that they work through chest and they pull from it, it might not be the most complicated thing, but heck, getting it to work and testing it out, I think is a heck of a thing to take care of. So, as someone who's tried doing a custom inventory system of some sorts in RPG Maker, let me tell you, it can be filled with... You can introduce bugs that you were not expecting. So, let's actually do some ore management here. And by that, I mean mainly taking the ore. And now the button to lift your pals is a different button. Still, though, targeting is a bit wonky, but I'm not going to complain too much about that. So away we go. What am I doing here? Oh, I am... What am I doing here? Oh, I want to heal a thing, so let's do this. Again, it's a very common thing for me to try and hoard a lot of items. The best version of it is that I want to be prepared for any situation, but the more not nice way to say it is the less nice way to say it is that I like to hoard things, so for better or worse. And it's usually for the better, but hey. On the crafting mines done with mods, the basic game all since a decade doesn't have the yeah. I thought Minecraft isn't someone else now in charge of its, well, for the most part, its development, I heard. Yeah, obviously it still belongs to the person who created it, and they still have a hand in it, but again, I could be wrong, I'm just trying to know for sure. Also, I think we're gonna harass these guys. They might... Let me make sure they have something I want. Go, Catris. Whee! I'll just snipe them from afar. Is that guy... Oh yeah, look at that guy. Oh, under the burn status effect. I think that guy got blasted down. What actually hit them? Why did they all blast off like a certain rocket that's a part of a team? But anywho. Meanwhile, more Vanworms. Actually, I think I actually need Vanworms, but we'll find out. Because these guys are really high level compared to normal Vanworms I fight. And that can be very painful. In fact, I should be taking out something stronger. Oh my goodness, please. Why am I walking towards you guys? Anywho. Really? I need to use Ultra Spheres for these guys? Are you serious right now? Oh, and then he died. Well, hey. Oh my goodness, if I could not miss. So, you might notice why I'm not using the PAL launcher. Is there even a reason to use that? It's not like it locks on or anything, unless it's the last one, obviously, but anything up to that one? Anywho. Nah, sold my... Yeah, something like that. He sold the game and or retired because money made him miserable or something like that. Which, I mean, I don't deny, but there is... While I find... Like, obviously, we can think of true versions of any statement, but I don't know. Again, I don't know anyone personally, so I'm willing to believe it, but I know a lot of people did not like that statement. For a good reason, right? It's not like I don't see why. As I focus on not dying. Really? I do this much damage? Oh, I set you on not attacking, and now you're dead, so I don't have flight. Whoops! I'm dying! If you kill that one, I don't really mind. Whatever mind. You made me hope for a second, Catris. I should actually wait for my shields to regen, but as long as I'm not surrounded, I should be relatively okay. Now, if you do that... Oh! No! What a fool I was. And I'm just wasting Ultra Spheres. You know, it actually hurts a lot more when I'm the one who made them all. Granted, I AFK'd for a lot of them, but when you make the items yourself and now I guess we know how people who make things feel, right? I usually have sympathy, but in this case I feel it more because I'm the one who made it. And so you can't, it's not like you can pick them up anymore. That's what I thought was happening. You'll hear me say it when I was playing the game, I think in earlier streams, but no, they just disappear. So sadness. Your PAL box is getting full. The nicest thing, I guess, would be to sell them to the blue merchant. But because, I mean, realistically speaking, like gameplay speaking, there's not really a reason, but at the same time. Because obviously we know what the evil way is. It's making use of a certain item. Oh my goodness, my shields. Sentry down! Oh my goodness, please. Oh! Can I not? Switch to crossbow. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Although I do need to return, because I don't feel like not having flight in a place where I probably need flight. Actually, you have... Oh, okay, yeah, you have that. That's right. I forget, because I don't have it. I keep forgetting that everyone else, especially those playing around me, have those things, so... Yeah. Yeah, that's a good reason. Is that affected by timers? Have any chance? Or is it immediate? Not even a spoiler. I'm asking, so it's not a spoiler for me. And by this point, yeah, PAL, quote-unquote, PAL Essence Condenser, end quote. Yeah, so, yeah, that would be nice if I could reach level 45. Nope, wrong guess. Actually, is it one of the right side ones? I'm going crazy here. Now I just want to look at this and lament. I mean, I could just switch my settings at any time. But once I do everything on this hard save, I will allow myself to do otherwise. But anyway, it's an ancient. It is an ancient. Well. Wait. Am I going crazy here? No, I'm dumb. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should have made this. I mean, that's how... I've gone this far, and I'm still trying to level up without it. So, if nothing else, hey, this is the experience of someone that hasn't done anything like that. Now, that being said, I should make it now. And if nothing else, this... Again, I'm going to keep saying that because if nothing else literally is the phrase of this stream. I've learned that I should make this. Whoopsie doopsie. Now, granted, I didn't have a lot of ancient civilization parts, but those can be grinded relatively easily. So, by me anyway. Can you... Now? You know what I should do? Hold on. I mean, I could put it anywhere else, but... Me being the way I am... No! You walked in the way! Hello. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't allow you to do this, and realistically speaking, this is not the most annoying thing. But it is still kind of important, especially on hard mode, because again, you deal less damage as the player, so your pals therefore need to be dealing a lot of the damage. Also, I wouldn't doubt that if I went online and checked something, that work speed is pretty much a dead stat, because... Theoretically speaking, you leave everything to your pals. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it has more of a use than we thought. Because if it only affects it by like a few seconds here and there, it's definitely a dead stat. I'm just going to say that outright. And if that's the case, weight and energy seem like very important ones. So anywho. Out of curiosity. Because, yeah, bosses don't turn into the thing. Why is that grayed out? Anywho, just checking to be sure. I'm just going to do it here just to see what happens. So I'm just going to use something that I normally don't use. Actually, I should not use something that I am not willing to use, but let's just see. Okay, yeah, there's a base. Oi. The noble... Wait, no, I gotta do it again, because I want to read that out. Hold on a second. Oops, I need a 5. 5? 1 is base and 4. Oh my goodness, why do I not... Wait, can you not sort it here? Question mark? I guess not. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Condensation complete. The PAL has become stronger thanks to the noble sacrifices of its companions. I mean, realistically speaking, like, not everything can be prettied up. So, hey. Actually, let me take a look. Why did I not check this? Because I need to do a thing. I need to sort this anyway, because I'm slowly running out of space. So, hey. Let me see here. I even just forgot, but I'm going to do this instead, because I am blind. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's... It's not the biggest difference, but it's still going to make an effect. Foxpart seems to be struggling with their task. Yeah, that happens a lot here. So, we're just going to switch you guys out instead. Doesn't level up, but boost the stats and heading... Yeah, I mean, boosting stats, especially if you catch things, I mean, that can be someone's way of grinding, right? And in fact, it might be optimal somehow, or just optimal, but again, I don't know. I wanted to test it out because things... Otherwise, we're sitting on these... What is it? That's another huge one, right? 48-hour eggs. Yeah, I should really just... I should just reduce the time. But anywho. So let's keep moving. So I have sulfur. I hear a sparkly for some reason. Was that my ears going? Hold on. What the heck? What happened here? There used to be something there. Now there's nothing. Hold on. Let me walk this way. Is that just the sound of you freezing everything? You sleeping? Chille? Chille? Chill it. Oh, and yeah, you guys are stuck out there. Yeah, this spot has its issues. So let me do that as well. But again, that's circumvented by doing literally this. So I don't feel too bad about it. But we'll head back to Volcano Land. Even though I'm pretty sure I need to repair. And yeah, let's not admit it too, because I think I needed to heal my Vanworm. That's what I needed to do. So I guess we're gonna sit around for 10 minutes. I could just take another Vanworm, but this would give me time to get some resource mining done as well. So let me just store almost everything, and we will get some coal mining done. But yeah, the other P game can also, like, the manga is pretty bad, let's just say that outright, in terms of how violent it can be. I think they even bleed there, right? So, you know, it's a series, and yeah, when it's sent, if there is a version, like, if it wasn't already centered towards kids, they could easily make a version that's centered towards kids, unless it was going completely explicit with certain concepts. Now, that's not to say that reversing is easy. If reversing it from a kid's show or game and making it a bit more focused, or not centered towards, but you get what I mean, centered towards adults. It's not a huge ask, but it is still a jump. Now, whether or not it'd be a good idea is still a thing, but could they do it? Sure. Would they do it? Probably not. So let me just make sure. Basically, storing a lot of this stuff would ease my weight, but at the same time, don't put anything in this chest while I'm managing it, you silly little pals. Boop, boop. Actually, no, but... Have I tried? Yes, of course I've tried. I've also seen it, obviously, but I've tried it myself because that was my first solution when I started getting too many pals that I liked. And then I realized I could just sell them. Oh, that's something I was supposed to mention earlier. So, yeah, selling your pals, money is at least the resource you get generally, and you can pretty much trade that for a lot of stuff that you usually need. So that would be the currency, so to say. I mean, it literally is currency that you can use to get most things a lot of things that you would definitely need. But yeah, the blur, the Sims blur is yeah, I know. I definitely know about it. Because I've also, I mean, on top of my own consumption of oh my goodness, I did a thing. My own consumption of Palworld, I've also watched people playing Palworld, so... Oh yeah, not as much as I would like, but obviously, this week has been a week of being wealthy, so... I mean, again, though, this is, for video games, definitely, there is not an artistic license, but it's an art form. It's not an art form, not exactly an art form, but you get what I mean. It's a type of form, especially in a fictional sense, that, you know, you could try and speak on a serious subject, and there's merit in doing so, but this game is not going out of its way to glorify the act, I guess. It's still, I think, now you could argue that, of course. I would not deny arguing it, but it's still within the realms of saying it's, you know, it's part of this world, lore-wise. Is it too close for reality? Again, that's a whole different, or not a different topic, but it's another avenue to debate about. But it's not glorifying, or it's not making any, you know, it's not putting it out in the obscene light. And again, this is based on the laws of Japan as well. So, it's a video game, 1. 2, it's a reasonable and or logical... I'm telling you these things because while I'm not a lawyer, I have looked into things, both out of my own interest and from you know, just knowing the laws and things is kind of helpful. Not just, again, I live in the US, but Japan, Canada, Eastern, Western countries, Europe, Australia, so on and so forth. Knowing those things, for the most part, obviously certain things are not allowed, but in areas. But again, 1, this is a video game, and 2, it makes sense for the world that it's in. It's not going out of its way to glorify it, and if it is, usually it's told from a storytelling perspective, which gives it a pass, because without it, it does affect the story that you're trying to tell, and the impact it has on characters, story, plotline, so on and so forth. But a lot of issues come from when you start glorifying something or making it. I don't want to keep using the word glorify, but that's kind of the line of thought that goes behind why to shut things down. And that also ties into like risk that you want to take. Again, controversy is often an effect of risk, but at the same time, you can't. I think there does need to be some... I mean, there's obviously needs to be ways to inform people of certain things, but that's not a reason to glorify something. And it can be hard to tell between certain things, but again, in the realm of films, books, video games, I think those things are protected, because most of the time, unless like you're actually... Because if you go in trying to glorify something, that's something different. Like propaganda and informational mediums are 2 different things. So, who was I trying to get? Oh, the Bushi. So, yeah, but in Palworld's case, it makes sense. I know I kind of went deep with that, but like, it's I kind of feel a bit strongly, because I've seen artists, authors, and stuff get wrongly accused of things when at least I have good reason to believe that they're in it for good faith, and it's part of their things. Now, obviously, if you're outright breaking a law, that's not good to do, but within the realms of video games, books, movies, and whatnot, I like if we don't have that much, we can get into dangerous. I think the world can get into dangerous territory. Some people are going really hard on yeah, and I know that is a thing. I mean, I will say it uses a blur, and that gives it some protection, because if it didn't use a blur, people would have more argument or more weight behind the argument of, oh, it's too explicit and it's doing stuff. And it you know, at the same time, you're literally shooting guns at these pals and, you know, other human beings, which we see in other games already. So, I mean, again, I'm not a legal expert, but the discourse continues on from there. I can think of ammunition for both sides, basically. So I would like more sulfur, but I actually need to queue up items for the purposes of making things. So, I need more charcoal too. Sadness. But hey, we'll get to work on it. Funny enough, I did not use as many... Oh, wait, I don't even have any on me because they're stored in here. I didn't use as many spheres as I thought, but knowing how much more pals I have to catch, hey... Like, it's too close to reality, it's almost, but it's not reality, is it? That's the hard stance that some logical people will present. And I know you're not arguing for exactly one side, you're just telling me, but, I mean, if we can think through it together, it is something good to think about, at least food for thought, to get our brains working. Like V once said playing 64, wait, people want to take a spiky lizard and spin it around? Yeah, so... I mean, you can go this way and that with how extreme you want to go, but it's a video game is a very less than 5-word explanation for it. It's a video game. Now, obviously, again, it can be taken in a bad realm, but for the most part, I think more than a majority of developers, artists, authors do work in good faith of things that they consider their artistic taste, their view on a story, so on and so forth. And so, therefore, legal-wise, it's harder to determine both for good and for bad, because again, you don't want to get the wrong person. And there are also actual real life atrocities being committed, so those definitely do take priority and have less of a defense, but again, we are people playing video games on the internet, that there's only so far you can take it. And there are points to attack. Palworld, I don't think, is normally one of them. In my opinion. And that's not... In my opinion, is not a defensive phrase, but it's easy to forget that an opinion and the fact are not the same thing. I like to differentiate when I think I'm saying a fact, and when I am presenting what I think is my opinion, or is definitely opinion. In my opinion. So, hey. That made you super laugh, the V-quote, but some people seriously believe it. Like Mario spinning Bowser around into little things, mine's okay, but shooting animals, not... Yeah, so... And that's the thing, right? Like, a character that is a big spiky lizard is hard... So the thing about that, if we're going to try to play a little bit of a devil's advocate, nice dance, Daydream. Cool dance that you're doing over there. The thing we want to say is, like, how close to real life does it get? Because the reason why that argument is important is because if it's too close to real life, then the argument becomes, well, is this not just a stand-in for wanting to do things in real life? Which, again, in the concept of a video game, it's a book. Are you really trying to take it seriously in that point? And, you know, you can talk this way and that. But it's harder to identify something that relates to real life if it is less like a space alien that is designed with like 8 tentacles, the head of a lamb, and the body of a stone church. Is much harder to think of an example than using the butcher emote in Palworld on Lambell, because Lambell looks very much like a sheep. It is not some mythical dragon that you're butchering up, which you can do in this game, because there are dragon-type pals, but... Yeah, and the TAG is a prime example of this. Like, literally that is the closest example And in the topic of violence, like that's the prime example. And it's like, if you're gonna do that, then why not this? Now, obviously there are differences, and you can think, like, one example of a human being that might care is someone who thinks that animals have more reason to sympathize with than human beings. But in that case, you're arguing against people who, you know, why are you valuing animals more than human love? Blah 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 blah. It's like, I find it interesting. I think it's interesting to talk about, and it is important to some extent. But yeah, and that's not going to mods. But mods are usually a very personal endeavor, which is when I try to focus on mods in any topic, I usually. I'm heavy. It's fine. We'll walk our way back. But yeah, when I look at mods, I use, because that's more personal. Like, the developer is not responsible for what someone does to their own copy of a game, and so it's not their fault if someone decides to do something strange by making a mod for a game that's actually completely innocent. And yes, we obviously know about the POK incident of skins for Palworld, but whoops. But that's not the worst example, I think. It is a pretty bad one, because the dude was trying to... the person in question was trying to get money off people, so don't do that. That's a crime in a lot of places, and that's not a good thing to do as a human being. But again, it's like, we wouldn't look at that mod and blame Pocketpair for that, right? Like, that, I think that would be an absurd jump. You could say, there are people who could say, and I don't agree, but people who could say, oh, because they put out this game, of course they were asking for it. But again, that's not the fault of the developer, in my opinion. And yeah. 3D games notwithstanding, we know the deal. I'm not going to say I don't know the deal, because boy. In fact, mods and fan content is exactly the reason why certain IPs still are... Do I want to use the word popular? I'll use the word popular to this day. But anywho, so my Van Worm should be more than healed up now. And we'll continue moving on. So yeah, the mods on 3D games in general notwithstanding, the developers are not responsible for what someone does to their own game, because if that's the case, this world would be in a much worse case if we held people accountable for things that other people did, which already sounds like an unreasonable statement, so I don't think there's any reason to continue that line of thought or debate. I think it's pretty clear which one is, you know, makes sense. Now, obviously, again, I will always say there are exceptions, and exceptions where they lie mean that if they... There are exceptions, and there is something to be said in influences here and there, but those are not the sole reasons. That usually a lot of, especially negative things, but also positive things happen as a result of several factors, not just one or two, or dare say even three. Now, are they huge factors, whatnot? Sure, but at the same time, that's why the layman, like, people I consider the layman thought that Palworld was still a game with guns, and they're not wrong, but it's also every other game on top of a, more importantly, survival. Like, let's get into it, let's just say it outright. Survival craft games like Ark. That's really all we can say. But yeah, people still think it's that with guns, but it's closer to Ark with monsters. So I'm shrugging in real life as I say. Like, there's a lot to looking at a game and deciding what factors cause it to rise and or fall, be successful, fail, so on and so forth. Yeah, but at the same time, yeah, it is... Again, I wouldn't exactly agree with it. Well, I would redefine that statement. That's not the right word, but it's an amalgamation of a lot of games, especially survival craft games. But if you were to say it in less than 5 words, yeah, that would be the phrase, wouldn't it? Actually, it would be. I would not argue it. But again, that's also like the layman wouldn't know, but the developer has gone out on record to say that, hey, yeah, we just took a lot of things that we thought were fun and we put them into this game, and people bought it, and they're not wrong. So, and again, the question of whether or not it's unethical is ultimately up to finding out if, you know, kittens were not being nice to. But in that regard, you could say the same of a lot of other companies we just don't know about. Like, I'm a very forgiving person, but obviously you have to call out things when they're completely egregious. So obviously there are a lot of things happening that we don't know of. Now, whether that's good or bad, again, if bad comes out of Palworld, then yeah, you'll find me not playing the game anymore. But at the same time, until that happens, like, it would be predicated on a lie. But right now, we're working on the good faith that is the developer being pretty much as open as they can be, which is more open than a lot of game developers, for better or worse. Yeah, not much else to say about that. So, but with anime-like creatures and instead of dinosaurs. So again, and let's just say a huge factor is that there have not been a good supply, or enough of a good supply, of the genre to people's liking and expectations, and so therefore that's why Palworld has a lot more success. It's not the sole reason, but hey, I've also seen someone saying that, hey, Ark is a better survival craft game. That might be true, but that doesn't change the fact that, if nothing else, it's another game that can be played alongside of it, and we don't have a lot of these games that, you know, the layman would usually have on their Steam library. Mainly their Steam library. Obviously, Game Pass is still a thing, but yeah. Can I catch you? I'm gonna hide behind this rock. Shh. Like the hero I am. Like the hero I am. I will sit by. Unless there's someone behind me. But, yeah. So, but yeah, literally, I mean, there are, like, it's not absurd to believe that someone who said, well, yeah, Palworld is just a bad version of this. I've seen people say that. So, yeah. But even if I wanted to defend said person, like, more people are playing Palworld right now, so I mean, I think the more direct phrase is that people who played Palworld just have bad taste in survival craft, which, in that case, I guess a few million people, if we're being that lenient, or a million people have bad taste. But again, unfortunately, for better or worse, the joke's on them, because the money. The money. Again, I wish I sold even 10,000 copies of a game that was worth $2. And again, they may be right in some regards, or more than regards than we'd like to admit, and maybe we are wrong, but like, the numbers come from somewhere. I know I'm playing Palworld right now, and then, for better or worse, I'm not playing Ark. I could try, I think, but yeah, I mean, not much else to say. I mean, I could say, devil's advocate argument, well, Jordan, you just don't want to start a new game that you're not familiar with. That's true. But as someone else that's close to me has also let me know, like, there's someone close to me who has a good sense for games. And before Ark came out, they were like, meh. But before Palworld came out, like, even before, like, a few days when it was announced and we got actual gameplay before early release, this person was like, this game's gonna pop. And I didn't deny them, I just didn't have the resources to get the game myself. And then the game came out and it popped. So that person, I trust this person a lot. And this person has at minimum a 90% rate of guessing right. So when this person lets me know, or other people let me know, because I use more than a couple sources, and my own thinking, obviously. But when a lot of signs had thumbs up, and obviously, in my mind, I knew Ark was going to be a thing as well, but I'm not going to say much more on Ark because I don't know it that well, but I had a feeling it was going to pop off, but it wasn't something I was going to play. Meanwhile, before Palworld, when Palworld was announced long ago, I already knew if I had more resources than I had more time and resources than I had, I would definitely focus on it. And right before it came out, I was like, ooh. And then everyone else was like, ooh, that I trusted. So, not worth, don't bother. Okay, I'll believe you there. Again, if I had the time, I'd touch it as a trying to play. But at the same time, yeah, again, I knew it was going to go somewhere. But again, that's not a really great thing to say after the fact, right? Which is why, again, I can only do what I think is okay. And I'm usually, funny enough, we talked about risks for a lot of this stream, but I consider myself a safe person in terms of deciding things, making decisions like this, developing still. But I think I still have an okay sense. I don't have the best sense. Like, I'll jump on something, but I'll also give reasons as to why something may or may not fail. Can I interact with one of these boxes, please? That will be nice. But yeah, Palworld, before it came out, I had a sense, more than a few people around me had a sense, whether you like it or not, because I also had no people around me who don't want to touch the game at all, even though they've touched Ark and other, actually more than a few survival craft games. I've talked with someone who played mainly the Freak of games, so, and they're not going to touch Palworld, but I understand why they're not going to do it. It's not some absurd logic ever. There's a logic behind it, unlike a good amount of discourse that currently exists for the game. So, probably add better base. I mean, they're going to do a lot of things. Obviously, we have the roadmap, but in the next few coming months, there's going to be a lot more PvP. I'm sure they'll touch the base in some sense, in terms of content, not just fixes, if I had to put money on something. And yeah, we'll see. After anything that I will say after this is speculation. If someone else says it, I'll be happy to talk about it and think about it together. Probably had better, yeah. So I mean, I just went over that comment, but anywho, hello, we're both vanworms. Wait, this is actually a lower level vanworm. What? I'm going crazy. Granted, I was kind of autopilot. And yeah, when PvP comes out, that could be a bug-ridden mess that actually breaks the game entirely. So that will hurt the game somewhat. But if they patch it within a week, I'll even give them that much. Everything will be fine, basically. But it might depend, because if they, something like PvP is huge, so this could be what, not doesn't kill the game, but hurts the game a lot, I guess I'll say. Because they're coming out with something that, unless they've already worked on it, again, I'm not them, so I wouldn't know. But if they haven't worked on it extensively, then it's hard to do a lot. Let's just say playtest it, fix bugs that exist inherently, because they're not... They might have 100, even a couple hundred people working at Pocketpair, but even if that's the case, unless they get people touching the game, like testing the game, like actually an early access of an early access, you get what I mean? Then it's gonna be a bug-ridden mess. So, anywho, well, yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be it's gonna decide now. The likely story, if I were to put money on it, what's likely going to happen is that it's going to come out, it's going to be a bug-ridden mess. People are going to say, we're going to get the discourse that is, see, if I were to print something now and call it out, let's just say this much. Yeah, it'll be a bug-ridden mess. It'll come out. I could be wrong. People will be like, see, you shouldn't have bought Palworld and played it, even though, I mean, it'll still be a good game. I'm not going to, that much I will say. It's still going to be a good game. It's just going to be a bug-ridden mess. Unless adding PvP absolutely crashes other parts of the game, then the game's going to die for at least a bit. It'll take a hit. People might ask, we'll get into topics like, oh, people are trying to ask for huge refunds and things like that. But we'll see. Yeah, the game is quite unstable. Let's just... I think a lot of people would agree on that. Despite how whole it is as it's the current version of the game. And again, I could talk about, something I could say is that maybe they want to prepare a version to keep as a base, like they want to opt in only into the next update. That way people can keep playing on an old update, because otherwise automatically on Steam you're going to get updated, and that's... If we're stuck on an update where the game continues to crash and does nothing but crash, then yeah, we're going to get a situation like a certain League of Justice of a certain squad. I'm going to die here again because these guys... Funny enough, I'm more afraid of these guys than anything else. Oh, this is not safe cover, by the way. I actually need one of them to go away, but if I can try to catch one, that would be nice. Can you please attack it? No? Cool. Cool story. Oh. But yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's gonna... I would bet it's a bug-ridden mess. I would hope that it only announces a few major bugs that are addressed within a few weeks, tops. But, again, we won't know until it happens, right? Until then, I'll be sitting here AFKing. I need to grab my things again. The tropical. I'm just trying to catch more, and technically those... do they count? I think they count. Why do I want to say they count? I feel like they actually don't, maybe. But maybe I could be wrong. We'll see. Actually, coin... Oh, never mind. I guess I'm going to do this instead. We need to take something out and move on with life. So far in the roadmap, PvP is so far away, I personally don't care. I thought it was coming out closer, but, I mean, again, it'll come out when it comes out. With anything, if anything, within the next few months. Unless they decide, like, obviously, if they're not as far as they want to be, then people will understand when it takes them, like, 6 months, alright? Because, and it might even take longer, because, again, they're not the hugest company in the world. Like, they are still relatively... They're small time relative to both their success and other companies, I guess we'll say. So, if it takes longer, at least people will understand, because we would rather that than a bug-ridden mess comes out. I know I keep using that phrase, but I think it applies, so... No, I didn't keep my Van Worm. It's fine. So yeah, it's the last probably 15 minutes of the stream, because I'm going to get back to becoming infinitely wealthy. I don't know... no, I'm not going to say as much as I'm going to say. So... Yeah, let us find out what I can get done, because if nothing else, I think I leveled up twice, right? Yeah, I leveled... almost. If I didn't die as much as I did, and I didn't run around doing almost nothing as much as I did, then maybe, but... Ooh, wait. I also keep forgetting in the Wealthy Infinite that what I thought was water is actually still called ice in that game, in terms of elements, but hey. Hey, cool BGM soundtrack. Again, these could all... Because I've run into examples of games that have just ended up using commercial-free assets. And, you know, they're relatively successful games. So, don't let it be said that you can't asset flip a game and come out with a greater success than you think. But at the same time, those are few and far between. Am I looking forward to PvP? I'm not really a huge PvP person. I might do things myself for giggles, but no, unfortunately. So... I'm more so, unless they do something really interesting or something really innovative, we'll see what happens. Again, I'm not a huge multiplayer / PvP person. Co-op, maybe I touch. Have I played a co-op? No, I don't think I have, right? Even in terms of like going online and cooperating with other players, but I'm looking forward to it, but I probably wouldn't play it. That's my more accurate stance as of now. It could change in the future. We'll see. So, what do I want to do here? So, they've already started putting stones and stuff into here. But what do I want to do? Oh, I want to go back out. But first, let's do this. So that they don't keep putting things in my chest. Really? I'm cold here? But yeah, we'll see when it comes out. It might be like a whole year before we get more single player content, theoretically speaking, but if that's the way the cookie crumbles, then that's the way cookies crumble. I also put my armor in the thing, didn't I? I don't think that's actually faster, but anywho. Wait, where did my armor go? What? Where did my regular... Did I store it somewhere? Oh yeah, I did store it somewhere. I stored it here, apparently. Unless that's just an extra piece. No! The coins. My inventory coins. And if nothing else, again, maybe I move on from Palworld, but it'll be a while because when the game, I do want to. I mean, it's a game I can AFK, so usually games that I can AFK, I'm going to be playing them to some extent, including Vampire Survivors, which I never put out a trying to play of that game. I wanted to. Oh, I actually didn't watch that yet. I think I noted that I read it, but I didn't get to watch it yet because I was preparing for the stream. So. Which is the same for anyone else, actually, who was in contact with me. So just know that before and after the stream, I probably am less online. But hey, I'll take a look at it. Take one item from a stack. Yeah, it does. But, I mean, you've seen me do it too. I didn't do it as often here because sometimes if I only take one like this, then what ends up happening is I don't have enough to spread. So, and the same thing for, again, as I figured out a few days ago, shift clicking multiple times halves it. It accumulates your halving of an item. So what am I doing here again? I want to continue leveling up if possible. And then obviously accumulating control left clicks also accumulates more of one item, but I need to grab my Van Worm. Why am I doing this to myself? Although, realistically speaking, I shouldn't be there because I'm getting rocked, but I'm at level, quote-unquote, at level, so... Theoretically speaking, I should be perfectly fine, but this is hard mode difficulty, so pain. And yeah, again, it's a perfect game. Like, if you're not doing anything else, like, you could just have it on and do other things. The unfortunate part is that I only really have 2 good setups, so one setup might be being used by other people, and the other setup is what I use for work. So I could have Palworld, but mainly Palworld is turned on when I am, like, I know I'm not using a setup. For example, playing on a PS5, so... Now... Earthquake. So yeah, it's a good game for that much at least. And it's strange to get, right? Because you can continue playing the game, or you could just, you know, again, AFK it and be perfectly fine as well. It lets you go at your own pace. I really should be using rifle ammo here. Also, Van Worm, why aren't you attacking? I'm just gonna resummon something else. I keep forgetting there's a reload button as well, but anywho. No! That hits so hard because of how many seeds come out. It's fine. It's not fine, but it's also still fine. Have I caught all Van Worms? Well, it seems like we're in battle, so I'm just going to catch you guys anyway and call it a day. If for no other reason than to, hey, use my incubation thing to strengthen up my own Van Worm. I'm also just going to, if one dies, so be it. Because, boy, dealing with 2 pals is already a death sentence, as you've seen multiple times in the stream. Oh no, I have not caught 10 Van Worms, so it would be in my best interest to catch more. Now this one, though, I should reclaim my Dinosaur and move on. Oh, don't hit me. 34% for Hyper Spear, but I have multiple Hyper Spears, so hey. Okay, that's good. Obviously, anyone who's played Palworld long enough knows when something is caught for certain. Until they, like, if I was developing Palworld or had a hand in it, I would, when the next update comes out, I would, like, switch that animation just a teensy bit. If for no other reason than to troll the players, but normally I don't make decisions that troll players, so, hey. Also, there's another Van Worm, so hey. Ow, my legs. I'm running out of handgun ammo, but while I still have some, can you not? I think actually your pals get in the way of your projectiles as well, right? Because I feel like when I accidentally try to shoot through my Daydream, things don't work out. Can you? And by you, I mean me. Woo! Depends on the skills you put on your pal if they have long... Yeah. Ow! My face! If they have long cooldown, your pal will do nothing. Yeah. And obviously I've written my pal, so obviously I know that there's an innate cooldown, so... Woof! I would like to level up again, but obviously experience... And I think 50 is max level, right? I haven't even looked into that much. I've looked into random things here and there, but that... Yeah, 50 is the max level, then, I mean, it's not... This is not the worst... Like, we've played... Like, as someone just mentioned, FF14. Unless you're using dailies, the grind can be a bit much. Now, obviously, it's a lot easier now, but I've also played in the days of the Coil, where all you had were fates to level up other classes, and I didn't even level up other classes anyway, so... Until this day, but obviously, I'm not subscribed to that game anymore, so... I would like to one day, because I think I would actually... And it's not with outside the... Like, if I have 2 setups and 2, like, legal copies of the game, which is what I did do, I used to... I think I tried streaming while playing 2 characters, and that was fun to do. I don't know if I still have videos and or streams of that. Also, I'm gonna die again here, because I'm being swarmed by 2 distinct types of pals, which is arguably worse. I accidentally summoned King Paka as well. Ah! No tree! But yeah, I would like to get into FF14, back into FF14 someday. But that is not actually probably going to be, unless something really good happens, not within the next 6 months. That's for sure. Because we're headed, people are, all the heroes are headed to a new land for the bonus arc, which is something I think a lot of games should do more of. But anywho... As I walk back and grab my stuff again. I actually need another Vanworm here, so... Because I want to be able to fly. And yeah, unfortunately the game has gone through ups and downs. I think some people would say it's going through a slump right now. But really it's a catch-up phase for anyone, because you do want to be kind of up to snuff. You don't have to do, like... You don't have to do Savage Raids, but... You do want to be... Like, in my experience, I want to be maxed out on my crafters and gatherers. I want to have at least good crafting gathering gear, if I were to... Because that's the usual thing, and, you know, not going away from that formula too much. I'm burning, by the way. Will I make it in time? Let's find out. If I had a slope, I'd make it in time. I unfortunately don't have a glider, so... This is going to be a race against time. I might die again. I'm gonna reach it. Well, I burned, though. But yeah, Endwalker killed it, didn't like it. Yeah, and a lot of people... I know more than a few people dropped it at Endwalker at varying periods of its time. Whether you are a fan or not, you dropped that game for reasons. So... I need to touch this without aggroing the thing. But yeah, and, you know... Some people around me, some people that I know of, have stopped playing the game just because, you know, life goes on. For better or worse, as my Vanworm gets absolutely blasted by this turtle, and I'm about to die. Ah! Thank you, Slope. I didn't grab all my items, unfortunately, but I'll do my best. I'd like a shield, actually. Get away from me! Yeah, a lot of people have stopped, and, you know, life goes on. Again, especially because, as I said before, oh my goodness, tree! There are more games to play, and when games come out, like, some time gets taken away from games here and there, so... I probably need an Ultra Spear for this, unless it dies. I have a shield, so I'm feeling a bit comfortable for the moment. Until I lose the shield, of course. But good news! B, he is way better. You know, but a lot of people are also playing the Blue Grand, among other things, and the Knights that are part of the Arc. Which I know aren't usually in the same genre, but... I mean, again, a lot of games are trying to compete, or are coming out If not to compete, then on their own. And if nothing else, time needs to be spent here and there. So, really, that's something else? Huh? Bugs? Thankfully, it's only a $30 game. But anywho. That reminds me, I need to watch someone else play this. I need to watch more than a few people play the game again. Oh. What? I stored it. Oh, I took every... Oh, I'm the bug. I'm the bug. I put this here. LA, yeah, LA as well. Yeah, so I stored everything here. I didn't pick everything up. That's why. Can I read? It says death chest right up here. But anywho. You have thousands of hours and done with it forever. Hey, at least you learn something from it. If it, you know, even if it may not be the best lesson. Even if you don't learn anything, I mean, it's still time that you spent in your life, for good or bad. It's filled with something. And if not, my condolences. I can only say what I can to make things sound better. Also, thank goodness we have a big slope here that I can just slide and, you know, just take my way down. And then, obviously, slope sliding into glider. What do I want to call it? Slope glide. Slope gliding is still a thing in this game. Makes you so fast without using any energy. But yeah. Learn algebra, worst of human. Algebra is pretty fun though. Hey, don't you love using it in World of Horror? Among other things. But yeah, without further ado, I think this will be close to the end of the stream. I'll just close it out with stuff. If anyone has anything to say, we'll talk about things. But otherwise, I won't take up more of your time if people have to go. I'll sit around for a few more minutes. Because there's not much else. I mean, I will announce something, so it is important to kind of listen to me for at least 3 minutes. But if I have 3 minutes, then what I need to say is that, hey, I'm doing something for Valentine's Day. I know I said that for other holidays as well, and I failed. I'm trying something for Valentine's Day. For World of Horror specifically. But we'll see if I do anything else. Because, boy, I need to get my feet back running. I'm already on the ground, I just haven't been running. So, and get rid of the egg timer. I'll try. Again, there's no real reason for me to, so I think I've already gotten a good vanilla hard watch in a future patch. They're like, oh, we're just gonna scale the default timer down to like 24 hours just because. I mean, that would still be a bit much, but I mean, what is it? The jump? Is it a jump from? Now I'm just curious. So actually, let me just save it here because I'm gonna have to do something with the setup anyway. But let me see here. So as I stop this here for the moment, what is the? Because it jumps from. I want to say it jumps from 2 hours to like 24, right? Or 48, or 72? Is it 72? I wonder who made that decision. But and as you see, I've been playing around with other things. But so let's see here. Hard. So this is the custom one, but it jumps from 2. So here, 2 hours to incubate massive egg. Oh, not even huge egg, massive egg. To what? Really? Oh no, that must be a setting that I did. I have to make a new world, don't I? No, I didn't mean to do that. No, don't worry about it. No, don't worry about it, man. Yeah, if you don't watch anything for any reason, it's you are your own person. I still appreciate any support I get, however small it is. And for anyone who has yet to leave, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Because hitting 1,000, and yeah, it might not give me the biggest boost in terms of things that I'm looking for channel-wise. Like, hey, makes me feel better as a human being, but it is still a milestone to hit. So, hey, and that's literally my only requirement. Oh no, base, oh, everything's loading in. But actually what I want to do is this. Yeah, let me check this and I'll close out the stream. I'll continue closing out the stream for good. But yeah, I'm gonna do a thing. If nothing else, it'll exist as a mod in the official World of Horror server. So yeah, I mean, and obviously you don't need to look at it if you don't want to. But hey, really, did it change to 4? I feel like this changed to 4. I swear that this did not used to be 4. Okay, fine. I guess I'm changing it to 4. I'm changing it to 4. All right. Like let me sit here for a moment because I need to react to this myself. Like what? Oh no, the wool's been pulled over to my own eyes when It apparent because I swear this used to be 48 or 72, and now they just changed it to 4 when I'm switching between these. Now I need to see what else has changed. Now, is there anything else? It doesn't seem like it. Let me see. Gathered items and items is still half as much. For anyone who didn't know, damage, player still takes 4 times more damage, deals half damage, experience rate affected by 20%, and pal capture rate is 80% of what it is on normal. So, this sucks, by the way. This extra 20%, it doesn't look like a lot, but yeah, and I can still put it down, thankfully. Like, this game does so much for the player. I don't think it deserves... I obviously don't think it deserves as much hate as it is currently getting, but let's do this on stream right now so I don't have to worry about it. So, what is it? Okay, no, it is affected. But that doesn't affect... Wait, does that mean... I'm going to go back in game quickly then. So I'm going to go back in game and put my eggs back in and see what happens. Because that means that if I unless the eggs have their own setting when you pick them up. If that's the case, that's going to be real interesting. But yeah, that also means that other eggs must scale off of the massive egg time. Question mark? That's just my guess as my developer senses are tingling. Okay. So yeah, not really much else more to say. We are currently here, and thank goodness we do this. I mean, I wasn't completely trying to defend it. I obviously was not happy with it, but hey. Yeah, so they're unaffected, but if I put them back in after setting it from the main screen, then I should be okay. But yeah, without further ado, I think that'll close out the stream again. Go back to what you were doing for the rest of the day. If this is currently Sunday for you, and you are a religious person, do your things. If you are instead gonna go out with friends, go do that. If you're gonna stay inside and just surf the internet, stay safe on the internet because there are a lot of dangerous things happening here and there. But for the most part, the internet is still mostly a safe haven for a lot of the human population. And yeah, I think tomorrow's gonna be a Nuzlocke stream. I'm gonna try to hit 2 hours. Obviously, if I don't, so be. And we'll see if I put out extra videos today. But yeah, if you're going to sleep, have a nice rest. Thank you for watching the stream, and I'll see you when I see you. We'll end with my character sleeping on this bed. And yeah, if you have any other questions, you know what to do. I'm on Discord, I have an email, I have comment sections that, as long as you don't sound like a robot, everything's okay. But without further ado, one last time, please subscribe to the channel if you want to support me long-term or at any extent. The memberships are still open. I'm going to leave them open. This doesn't hurt unless I do nothing. And then I'll just stop memberships because then I'm doing nothing. But yeah, otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye!